a huge consumption market, and for that actually in China the manufacturing cost is rising. That is why India is seen as an alternative destination for the foreign investors in order to set up their industries in India. So most of the foreign countries investors, they are coming to India, they are setting their manufacturing and R&D centers in India just to promote this electronics industry. And also we have some export potentials also in outside the India, like in Middle East countries our electronic components are in huge demand. So if we start manufacturing these products, then we can fill that gap and we can generate new revenues for India. So next. So how we will tap these opportunities? How India will going to tap these opportunities? First of all, in manufacturing sector, in electronics manufacturing sector, we will see that India has decided to set up 2 new fabrication units. Till now, no fabrication for semiconductor is being done in India. So now government has decided to approve 2 fabrication units in India, so that India can be made as a global hub for the VLSI and board design. Okay. And also in the sector of PCB manufacturing, printed circuit board manufacturing, we are having certain very good technologies for manufacturing the PCBs up to 8 to 12 layers. But we are not importing these PCBs. So we can import these, we are not exporting these PCBs to other countries. As I told you earlier that in Middle East we have a great demand. So we can focus over this and we can manufacture most of the PCBs and we can sell out there and we can generate revenue from there. And in case of LCD displays manufacturing, here in LCD display it is a very huge consumption demand. In India and all over world it is in huge demand as LCD displays. But what is the present problem in India is that we are having the designing, we are having the local design, we have manufacturing capabilities. The problem is we are not having so much money. For India is not having so much local people are not having so much money for manufacture LCD displays. So for getting opportunity, for making opportunity from this sector, actually government has launched certain schemes so that they can provide incentives to the LCD manufacturing units, and in this way more manufacturing of LCDs can be done and more revenues can be generated. So after knowing the manufacturing opportunities, now we will focus on certain products which are electronic products, and they are getting a very huge success, and we are seeing the fastest growth in it, like set-top box. When digitalization has been done for the TV and broadcast industry, then a new kind of set-top box came into existence, and in those set-top box we can have internet. We can have, we are also moving towards smart TVs, which are digital TVs mainly. So we have a video on demand facility over there, and also we are making use of new technologies through which we are getting so much advancements due to digitalization in the field of TV industry and the phone industry also. So there is a fastest growth in the TV industry and the mobile phone industry. Now next electronics products which is seeing very fast growth is medical electronics. In the field of medical, the systems are being designed by the electronics engineers which are working at very low power and which are also available at low cost for monitoring, for imaging for the patients. And also we are providing the wearable devices to the doctors so that they can accurately predict what is the situation of the patients. Next. And also there is one sector like auto electronics. This is also seeing a fast growth in our country, which is in auto electronics, although we are at the nascent stage, but still the government has, government Department of Electronics and Information Technology has decided that by 2020, about $10 billion has been invested into the market, Indian market, so that we can do much more in the field of auto electronics. In order to achieve or in order to tap all these opportunities that are available inside our electronics industries, government has laid certain policies so that we can achieve it in a better way. The government came with National Policy on Electronics, MSIP scheme, fabrication policies and PhD schemes. In National Policy on Electronics, government has target to achieve a turnover of $400 billion by 2020 by investing $100 billion. So much turnover can be achieved by electronics industry, and also by providing employment to about 28 million people. So much huge employment can be generated if we explore the field of electronics industry. In MSIP scheme, government is trying to provide incentives, funds to those industries which are in India. They are not capable of manufacturing, so they can fill a form and they will provide the funds to them so that they can make their own manufacturing units. In this way also, government is trying to build electronics inside electronics industry in India. Semiconductor policy. Under semiconductor policy, as I have said, two fabrication units have been approved by the government of India. One is in Gujarat and one is in Noida. So these two industries has been approved, and they will first time in India we are going to manufacture semiconductors for industry, for electronics component manufacturing use. Now, government has also came with PhD schemes for electronics and IT. In this, government has given rupees 466 crores in order to provide the PhDs for electronics and system design and manufacturing, so that the young people and innovative ecosystems can be generated and R&D of India can be boosted up. These are the key electronic good manufacturing plants across the India. In east we can see we have West Bengal, in north we have Delhi and Uttarakhand, in west we have Maharashtra and Gujarat, and in south we have Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh as electronic manufacturing hub inside the India. So now I want to tell you something about what is Digital India. Digital India is a flagship program by the government of India. Under this program, government has set 9 pillars, and inside that pillars, government has said that 2.5 lakhs villages will be covered with the optical network fiber net, so that all the villages can access internet, and also the Gram Panchayats are given a Wi-Fi connectivity, and most of the schools and colleges, they are also made Wi-Fi facility. MOOCs programs are being launched in order to make the education at the e-platform. So all these things are made under the Digital India, so that we can convert the conventional India into a Digital India. Other than this, one more key point, one more pillar which is very important in Digital India is government laid one pillar of electronics manufacturing also. Like government has decided till 2020, by 2020, government will make net import of electronics zero. So here I'm talking about the net import, not total import. Net import will be zero till 2020 according to the Digital India program. So I just want to conclude my session here, and I want to say that government has realized that electronics field has such a potential that investing in this field, they can take their economy to the next level, and that is why government came with such a huge programs to make India more better in its economy. Thank you, everyone.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Apeksha from Department of Agriculture Engineering. So we all are gathered here to celebrate Engineers Day. 15 September is marked as an Engineers Day to celebrate the birthday of Sir M. Visvesvaraya, to give a tribute to him. He was a civil engineer and a reputed statesman. He is still remembered for his contribution as a chief engineer in flood protection system, which was designed for the city of Hyderabad. So what do engineers do actually? They design, they create, they explore, they innovate our surroundings. So it is well known to everyone that every branch of engineering is giving its maximum potential in leading the nation to the development in the path of development. So engineers are educated and trained in many different sectors, in many different fields, in many different types of environment. So engineers do things that makes our world worth living. They bridge gap between society and scientific knowledge. And agriculture engineers, they are the persons who are trained in engineering, who applies their engineering knowledge, engineering techniques into the agriculture and the food, and defined broadly to include biological processes and environmental aspects. So people expect a lot from the engineers. So a successful engineers graduated are expected to, he should have an ability to apply knowledge of mathematics, science and engineering. He should have an ability to design, conduct, experiment, as well as to analyze and interpret the data. And he should have also an ability to identify, formulate and solve engineering problems. So next. So in a layman language, we can say that if we give a person a fish, we can feed him for a day. If we give a person, if we teach a person to fish, we can feed him for a lifetime. But if we teach a person how to process and package fish, he can export, he can keep it for, he can increase its shelf life, and he can stimulate actually the economic development. This is basically the work of the engineers we do. So the major issues we are facing in the country is like climatic change, water availability, and engineering energy securities. So these all the major issues which we are facing, it is the need of engineers to fix them all. So agriculture in India, as we know that India is like Bharat ek krishi pradhan desh hai. So, and India is India's agriculture sector accounts about 15.9% to the economic development, and about 49% of the total employment is in agriculture sector. So we can see from the data that in 2019 there was a lot of decrease in the village population. There was a structural change in economy because because of the result of the movement of labor from agriculture to the other sectors. So there is a need in agriculture technologies and less labor intensive programs. So so we can see that from this graph that in 2019 about 42.38% of the employment was generated by agriculture. So according to the Foresight report, the future of the food and farming, it was stated that the global food system is facing many challenges today, and it will increase day by day in the upcoming next 40 years. So we should have an immediately response to with the current technologies and knowledge, sufficient will and investment. We should look for the problems coming forward us so that we can be good in future challenges. Next. Agriculture is also giving women empowerment, as based on the 2011 census, 37% of the total number of agriculture workers were women. So it will be increasing day by day. So there is a demand for more emphasis on the development of gender-friendly tools, equipments, and also the workplaces. And we also need to organize demonstration and trainings for the farm women, and so that they can properly operate the machines and various modern tools and equipments. Various advancement is there in agriculture engineering. The face of agriculture engineering is rapidly evolving with game-changing technologies coming in our way. So due to the rapid technology changes, it is a very exciting career option. So the people working in it are getting lot of things to learn with new coming days. For example, AG boats or agriculture robots are used for everything from harvesting to irrigation. Next is closed ecological system. It is based on waste management. So in this we do not rely on the matter exchange outside the system. We instead we transform waste product from within in order to support the life forms. Next is sophisticated sensing technology. It is like a real-time computer-based image analysis which is used to control agriculture machines. GIS, that is Geographic Information System. It is a special system which is used to design to capture, store, manipulate, analysis, manage and present all type of geographical data on Earth. Next is remote sensing. It is a kind of a data collection which regarding an object without any physical contact with that object. And one is in IoT based smart farming, which is a system in which is built on to monitor the crop with the help of sensors. In this, the farmers can monitor the field conditions from anywhere. So next. So we have all seen this in this pandemic effect. During this pandemic situation, we all have experienced that food is the most important and most important things than other materialistic thing. We have seen recession in all other sectors, but we needed ample amount of food supplied throughout this situation. So and also the food product, processed food products also. So there is a need. Next. So there is a need of a supply of processed food in abundance in coming time. So India needs to be very constructive and productive, quick and smart and innovative during for using our raw materials, which is in ample amount, so that it can bridge a relationship between health shock and economic shock. Next. So what are the things we can improve in India? India needs to create more synergies in agriculture and food technology. We should prioritize the adoption of innovation and productivity growth and improve sustainability. We should provide good seeds, fertilizers and farm inputs to the farmers in time. Next. Proper implication of digital technologies should be done so that the farmers can sell the produce directly to the consumer, so that they can get a high price and proper benefit. We should prepare trainers at government institutes so that they can train the farmers about the changing farming methods and new technologies involved. And so the time demands us to invest in more research and development in this sector, so that we can improve well and use our natural resources precisely. Thank you.
I am here to represent Mechanical Engineering Department. I have selected this logo because it gives us two things. Firstly, it provides the real definition of an engineer. Okay? For other normal people, it is just a half glass full of chai. But for engineer, it is a glass full of fluid which has half% of the fluid, while other half is of air. So according to me, it clearly defines an engineer, because engineer always find creativity and knowledge in our daily day-to-day activities. So on this note, I wish all of you, firstly respected Director Sir and all the respected faculty members, a happy Engineers Day. Now moving towards my presentation, I am here to give my presentation on the topic impact of mechanical engineering on developing India. Myself, Nikhil Bajpayee. During my presentation, I will cover the following topics. Firstly, I will introduce my branch. Then I will share the importance of mechanical engineering. Then I will discuss about the latest trends and technologies which are there in mechanical engineering. Then I will discuss to the careers of mechanical engineers. Then I will discuss about the role of mechanical engineers in Make in India. And lastly, I will discuss about the future scope of mechanical engineering. Now firstly, I want to define what is mechanical engineering. Basically, mechanical engineering is that branch of engineering which deals with the design, manufacturing, maintenance and testing of products and machinery. It also includes the application of mechanics, applied mathematics and physics in the day-to-day concept. In mechanical engineering, we basically have three main streams. We have thermal or thermal science stream. This stream basically deals with the study of heat and its measurement. Then we have design. In this stream, we study the complicated designs of engineering system. Then we have production or manufacturing engineering. This stream basically deals with the manufacturing, various advanced manufacturing strategies which are being followed in mechanical engineering. Now I want to discuss about the importance of mechanical engineering in the current scenario. Mechanical engineering is basically the art of using problem solving technique and then applying it in the design and manufacturing of the object. It is only the mechanical engineer who uses his creativity and knowledge and then turn a dream into reality. If there is no mechanical engineering, then we do not have biggest innovations like engines, generators, elevators or even refrigerators and air conditioning. Now these are some recent trends and scope of mechanical engineering. The scope of mechanical engineering is not only limited to the design and manufacturing of components. With the advancement of technology, we are also having several new domains like robotics, nanotechnology, mechatronics and CAD/CAM system. When I talk about the robotics, so it is basically an interdisciplinary branch of engineering which combines or integrate mechanical engineering with electrical and computer science. And with the help of this technology, we are developing robotic systems and control systems for controlling them. Mechatronics is also an interdisciplinary branch of engineering which integrate three different branches. That is mechanical engineering, electronics and information technology. Generally, a mechatronics engineer is responsible for creating highly complicated engineering system. Then in mechanical engineering, we also study and analyze product at a nano scale. This scale generally ranges from 1 to 100 nanometer, and this field of study is known as nanotechnology. Then we also have integrated CAD/CAM system. Firstly, we have developed CAD for designing, then we separately have developed CAM for manufacturing, and now we are at the age of integrated CAD/CAM system like 3D printers. With the help of that system, we can design as well as manufacture a working model of a product with the single system. Now, now we are moving towards what are the opportunities. After completing engineering in mechanical engineering, what are the various opportunities for the mechanical engineer? So this diagram clearly depicts the role of mechanical engineer in society. On a broad scale, I can say that mechanical engineer can mainly play role in production or mechanical design of product. He can also work as an analyst or researcher, but he can also contribute in making our planet green. Because at current stage, our automotive engineers are working on using various alternative fuels like methane, alcohols in our vehicles. Now, people which have a bachelor or master degree in mechanical engineering can find roles in various different industries, like he can be a manufacturing engineer, he can be a process engineer, he can be a robotics and mechatronics engineer, he can be an automotive engineer, and he can also be a construction and maintenance. So there are numerous opportunities. Now we are moving toward our main topic of presentation, that what is the role of mechanical engineering in the development of India in the current scenario. Since mechanical engineering is considered as evergreen branch of engineering, so it provides employment in all kinds of industries, and therefore it is a choice of engineering for our future engineers. There are around 3 lakhs mechanical engineers in India which have been serving in the different industries. So on the basis of this data, I can say that it is impossible to neglect the role of a mechanical engineer. As per the data which is being provided by the global firm, that is Deloitte, this data was taken in the February 2020. It can show the percentage wise breakup of mechanical engineers employed in different industries. So we can see that 16% of mechanical engineers are involved in transportation equipment manufacturing, 7% of mechanical engineers are involved in scientific research and development services, 26% of mechanical engineers are involved in machinery manufacturing, 7% of mechanical engineers are involved in computer and electronic product manufacturing, and 44% of mechanical engineers are involved in architectural engineering and related services. So it is a clear indication that mechanical engineers always play a very important role in bringing about the economic development in India. Next slide. Now this is an initiative known as Make in India initiative. It is launched by the government of India to attract various manufacturing enterprises from abroad as well as from the domestic India to set up small manufacturing units in India, so that we can be able to enhance the manufacturing ratio, the role of manufacturing in GDP. In present scenario, it was 15%, but if we will work together in Make in India scheme, then we will be able to enhance the manufacturing share in our GDP from 15% to 25%. Because anyone can ask that why Indian government is focusing mainly on manufacturing sector, because manufacturing sector always play a very important role, and it is one of the highest employment generating sector in India. Therefore, our Indian government is focusing its attention on this sector. Next slide. Now, this is the future scope of mechanical engineering. According to the data which we have got from various firms, the scope of mechanical engineering and its demand in marketing is very promising. According to a report which was taken in the year 2016 by the global consultancy firm Deloitte, it was reported that India will, in the last 5 years, India will definitely grow in manufacturing sector. In the year 2016, it was at the 11th place, that is at the bottom. But by the end of the year 2020, it will move up to 6th place and came at the 5th place. So as the manufacturing India is strengthening its manufacturing sector, so it will definitely create a lot of opportunities and multiply the roles of mechanical engineers in India. Next slide. So, but the important thing is package. Package is a very big problem for mechanical engineers, and it will depend only on their knowledge and expertise. So it is very necessary to bridge that skill gap as soon as possible. Otherwise, there will always be a problem that people are complaining that mechanical engineers are getting very low package. So what we have to do, how we can bridge that gap, by improving the coding and communication skills in the mechanical engineers as per the demand of the industry. And if we will be able to bridge that gap, then mechanical engineer was a core stream, is a core stream, and always will remain the core stream of India. Thank you.
Director sir, and my esteemed colleagues and faculty members. First of all, good afternoon to everybody, and once again, happy Engineers Day. Now I'm here to represent the IT department, and I will present on very key aspects of information technology, focusing on its applications. Now, we have seen that the term technology itself is the term which makes technology easier to use, a technology which a common man can afford and common man can use in day-to-day life. Okay, so that is the role of engineers, to simplify technology so that the masses can actually embrace it or they can work with it. In this aspects, the information technology retrofits every definition of engineering and technology. As you can see that a lot of technologies have been developed, and without us, that is information technology, none of them can really fructify their end results. So a brief, a very summative definition. I mean, a lot of things are known to you already because we live in IT era. So we see that IT is the use of computers, that is to store, retrieve, transmit and manipulate data or information. IT is typically used within the context of business operations as opposed to personal or entertainment technologies. So if you are doing business with IT, okay, or business with some technology, and it is using computers which can store, retrieve or process the information, that becomes an IT. And more formally definition would be that it's a combination of information system, communication system, including all hardware, software and the peripheral equipment, and more important, the human professionals which our department actually produces. Now, whatever the organization be, let it be any manufacturing unit, any department, any service provider, or any office, government office, if you are effectively using IT, then you can have enhancement in your productivity, in your achievements, and you can attain whatever targets you plan. So it says that it has benefited the business world by allowing organizations to work more efficiently and to maximize the productivity. Its use and application saves millions of man hours in all business across all sectors. Now, I've been given an opportunity to speak at the last, and where every department came up and have shown their advancement, the future scope, and what they basically do. But none of the department can ever think that if we are absent, then their progress is actually a small miniature. Because if you talk about CAD CAMs, you can't work it without computer and proper softwares. You talk about biotechnology, a lot of work on the biotechnology starts with on the open source softwares or the proprietary softwares. So if you don't have a software, if you don't have an application of computers, then you can't be that much productive. Let it be agriculture, civil, you do a lot of designing and those kind of things over there. So business needs faster communication, electronic storage and production of records, which the information technology guarantees to deliver and complements the demands of new and competitive business environment to face the profound changes. Now this 4 lines actually means that if it is engineering, then it is bound to change, because there would be new addition and there would be more competitive cutting edge technologies coming to us, or you have to develop it, or somebody else will develop it for you. So you have to have some environment in which you can accommodate this much rapid change, and only that can be done with the help of effective use of IT. IT systems also help to make crucial decisions regarding the operations of their organization. If you are undergoing a production system, obviously a lot of production people will be involved. from mechanical engineering. Okay, then if you want to optimize your operations, okay, you need a science like OR. But if you want to really effectively make use of it, then you have to use IT systems. That IT systems can be used as a decision support system, information system, or simple database system. Now we'll talk about applications, business. I've already discussed, and most of you are aware of what avenues it opens up in business environment. Now if you concentrate your attention on the bold font, it says that inventory management system, database, data management system, management information system, and customer relationship system. These are the key areas of business today. So if you have a proper or good CRM, ERP, database, you can effectively run your business. It is not concerned with you are fundamentally from some other stream or other branch, or your business is a hybrid from the hybrid sector. Now education, you see that a lot of educational softwares, tools, techniques are there. Nowadays in COVID era, everybody takes classes on Zoom, Google Meet. This is all being provided by the effective use of computers on IT application. These are basically what? IT applications. And they enable you to learn. And it has miniaturized the distance between a student and a teacher. Your teacher may be sitting far miles away from you, and a student is in its home, in its comfort zone, and yet you can access the knowledge. You can train your teacher can train your. Excuse me. I need to. That you can train yourself with the help of that teacher or course. Nowadays, people who are going to US, they are not allowed. They can complete their first or the basic courses from their native country itself, and this is all possible because of this. You have seen Byju's, how creative, how informative they have made learning, and how presentable it is there. Students are very cozy, to understand, to learn from Byju's and other such informative applications. Space and aeronautical engineering. Okay, let it be a data captured by satellite, aeroplane, or anything. You need an IT application to really process that data, store that data, and transform that data information into some meaningful knowledge. Likewise, thousands of civilian aircrafts, they move, land, they book their passengers, they board off their passengers, and in entire operations they use IT. Without IT, this is not possible. Clear? Similarly, if you want to track the global movement of aircrafts across the globe, there is a site, you access it, that will give you the precise, even they give you the route of the aeroplane also. Now medical and health, you have seen that everybody must have undergone some tests. When you go for a test, the operator asks you for name, age, what test you want to undergo, and gives you a receipt exactly that would come out of a printer. Now there is a DICOM standard which is being developed right now. This DICOM standard is actually digital image and communication. So that once you undergone a test or an X-ray, this report will be available across the globe, and you don't have to actually physically carry the report. Now we have DICOM compliant machines, MRIs, CT scans, and these have very specialized software. They can detect cancer, they can detect tumors, which are not even visible to naked eye. Certain parameters doctors can ignore, but a computer algorithm or our IT application will definitely process that. Next, in daily life we have mobile. That is well enough to tell you that what are the applications of IT. Okay, you can purchase, you can do online shoppings, you can ask somebody to deliver certain gift or certain items to certain doorsteps, no issues. The most important is the government sector. Okay, now see, we have seen the government's functioning. the government has to reach to the people. So people have complaints, they are entitled for certain schemes which they have to fight on daily basis to reach to the government office. Now if our government is also using this IT technology effectively, we've seen that many things have been